Good afternoon, and welcome to what is today sunny Colorado. I'm sure many of you have heard about our unusual season with so much rain, but I think many of you brought the sunshine with you as we hit these warm temperatures we yet haven't had. My name is Fatima Imad. I serve as the Executive Director of Frontline Farming, Project Protect Food Systems Workers, and I'm stepping down in leadership as President of Mile High Farmers. I occupy many positions across the state, but mostly I'm a farmer, a child of immigrants. And I wanted to take the time to welcome you all to Colorado today. It's important that as we arrive in Colorado, or for some of us that even live here, that we take the time to give a land acknowledgement and a labor acknowledgement. We acknowledge that we are occupying the land within the territories of the Ute, Cheyenne, and Arapaho people. The 48 contemporary tribal nations that are historically tied to the lands and waters that make up the state of Colorado. It's important to recognize that Indigenous peoples' connection to this land has been challenged by violence, disease, treaties, invading settlers, relocations, forced removals, termination policies from reservations, and other colonial actions. And however, throughout this turbulent history, the land has continued to hold great historical, spiritual, and personal significance for the original land stewards of this region. We also want to take the time to acknowledge the legacy of slavery in many regions across the United States and the enslaved African peoples whose labor was exploited over generations to help establish the economy of the United States. Specifically the production and harvest of surplus crops and land cultivation. Our nation continues to profit financially from the exploitation of the descendants of enslaved Africans. It's also important that we take the time to acknowledge the labors of those who steward our land daily and the 50,000 agricultural workers across the state of Colorado, many from Mexico, although we have communities from Guatemala and as far as Nepal. Thank you for listening to this land acknowledgement. And again, just want to give us a warm welcome and take some time to do grounding together. I want to invite you to come into a nice seated position. At Frontline Farming, we know that coming into spaces, even virtually or in person, can be different. And so as we arrive in spaces together, it's important to take the time to ground. And we particularly see that need even with the pandemic and what it means to be in interrelationality. So if you could indulge me, I'd invite you to listen to my voice and take the time to ground. So if you want to come into that nice seated position, position your feet on the ground if you're able. Feel the earth on your soles. If you're comfortable, downcasting your eyes or closing them. And knowing that you don't have to do anything or be anything right now. This is just a time for us to come together and take a moment to arrive. So I want to guide us in 3 breaths at a 5, 7, 8 count. I can be really relaxed. So I'll invite us to inhale for 5 seconds, hold our breath for 7, and exhale for 8. So as you're ready, please inhale. And hold. And exhale. Ready? Inhale. And hold. take this next breath at your own will. As you do, I invite you to inhale all the good things that have served you this week as you've made your way to this conference. And I'd invite you to let go of what doesn't serve you today, to perhaps release that, and invite your presence with us today and this week. As your eyes are still closed, and you've cultivated this calm yourself around you, and as we've cultivated this calm together, I want to invite you to bring your gaze to your heart center. It's important that we create visions of where we are going and what we dream of so we can achieve those things. I'd like you to imagine what it looks like to have healthy food for kids. Does it look like gardens built in schools or networks? Or are there farms where children visit and work with farmers? What does it sound like? What does it smell like? Who do you see there? Do we see other relatives, such as plants and insects and all the living things? What does it taste like? How does it feel? I'd like you to carry this vision and feeling with you as you continue in your journey this week and as you do every day, as I recognize that many of you serve. With your eyes closed, I'd ask you to bring your hands together and rub them. Photosynthesis is real, and we too create energy, creating friction and heat. And bring those hands to your eyes, covering your eyes. Feel the energy you create. And I'd invite you to turn your palms out around you, shine that energy to all who are here with us today. Release your hand, shake it out, do what feels good. And as you're ready, I'd invite you to bring awareness back into the room. The sounds, the smells around us. Awareness of your breath. And as you're ready, I'd invite you to open your eyes and join me. You are in the right place at the right time, and you are so welcome. By way of welcome today, I want to talk to you all a little bit about our work at Frontline Farming, a little bit about the importance of school to farm and nutrition programs, and really hear from some of my farmers and educators. Many of you already know a lot of the data, and I want to support you in the work through uplifting you and sharing about our stories on the ground.
So the fact that food is a fundamental building block in our livelihood as humans is itself an advocate to the importance of having good food programs in and throughout our educational systems, whether it's food-based or farming curriculum to healthy farm to school lunch programs. The saying, "you are what you eat," is literal in the fact that the life force energy used to grow the foods that we consume is the same life force energy used to grow our bodies, to grow our minds, and to enrich our spirits. So it's important that we understand who we are by understanding what food is, how to grow food, how to prepare food, and when we incorporate these things more often into our lives, at all levels, we're going to live better lives.
Go.
Hey everybody, I'm Molly Gonzalez. I'm the Educational Programs Manager at Frontline Farming, and we do education programming for anyone from 3 to 99 years old, right? Because we know that everyone needs control of their foodways. And what that means is that they're not just buying their food, they're being an active participant in growing their food, or they know what folks who are growing their food may be going through. What this does is it allows us to become empowered in our decisions as consumers and empowered in our activities as a community. Making sure that you know where your food comes from means that you know where your nutrients are coming from. Make sure that you know who is eating the same foods that you are and that you can get the best recipes for them. Thanks for being a part of Frontline Farming.
Garden-based curriculum is very important. As a youth, I had no relationship with my environment. I was lost in digital things, I was lost in books, but I never had a relationship to the green. I never had a relationship to the flower. And I think garden-based curriculum builds a love and appreciation in a way where we put a seed, we spread a little love, pour a little water, and BIPOC youth can get a whiff of the abundance that the earth truly has for us. I think it's important for our health, it's important for our spirits, it's important for our ability to connect to the present, because think about it. You know, a lot of us unfortunately graduate from high school with no practical skills, like, nothing you can, imagine when you put garden-based education into the schools, it gives the child something that they can work on throughout their entire life. So imagine kids being master gardeners by the time they reach 12th grade. So if nothing else, they could grow their own food. Imagine what that would do for a community that was in need of health and healing.
Go.
All right. I think it's wonderful that you all are thinking of ways on how to integrate farm education, opportunities for kids to connect with the land. And I just want to talk specifically about the benefit of having on-site gardens and on-site farms with public school systems and private school. What it does is it allows kids to really integrate what they're learning in the classroom. So you can take all of that STEM or STEAM, I know we're adding art into that acronym, and you can use that to also integrate agricultural education. So the cool thing about agriculture is it involves mathematics, it involves art, it involves engineering. And when you provide that on site, you can allow for a more seamless flow. Seamless flow from the classroom to the garden. So I've seen a lot of different ways that teachers are doing it, but one of the big things is really getting that support from the administration to support the garden in the long term and to support the farm in the long term. But for kids, just imagine, being able to take the things that they're learning in terms of arithmetics, and then they can go out into the garden and they can learn how to space tomatoes 24 inches apart. What does it mean to use a ruler? And then they can also harvest tomatoes and they can weigh it and get a number from that and subtract the crate it's in, So there's a lot of just like basic skills that you can gain in the garden, and just the joy. Kids love to be outside and they love to have their hands in the dirt.
Greetings everybody, I'm Josh Son Ogist, one of the founding members of Frontline Farming. You heard from our farmers today talking about the importance of the school nutrition programs that has set itself off in this country for quite some time. But I just wanted to give you a little history. The initial concept started with the Black Panther Party in the late 60s, early 70s, where they started their free breakfast program for youths in their communities. Not only did it feed the children, give them that proper nutrition and just energy for them to thrive in their schooling, but it also involved the whole community, where the families got involved, the mothers, the fathers, the aunts, the neighbors, the uncles. So they really built up the community, making sure that the youth thrived and were well nourished. So it is important for us that we know that we are the torchbearers, we are the people who are continuing this legacy as farmers, as educators, as community activists, as children, of this society that we all live in. So we all have to really work together to continue that legacy that was passed on to us. It's very important. So it's up for us to go back to our school districts, to work with our parents, because that's very key, very important for you all and us all to work with our parents, to also work with the administrators in the school so these programs are lasting and perpetual, so that they don't get shut down in a few years, but they keep on going. But more importantly, it's important for us to work with the parents. And all together, we are one big community. And like the African proverb says, it takes a village to raise a child, and we are all members of that village. So please take this message of encouragement, of food growth, of personal growth, and of nourishment for our children, for our youth, and for our communities. And we thank you for just hearing us and taking our message back to you, so that we all can make sure that the children have the proper nutritious food that they need for them to succeed educationally, socially, and in life. Thank you very much.
You've had the opportunity to hear from our farmers at Frontline Farming, our educators, and I wanted to take a moment to thank you all for being here in Colorado and to really extend a warm welcome. And as you go on to the summit and in your time here and your journey, and I want to thank you for all the work that you do. At Frontline Farming in 2021, we passed the biggest bill for agricultural workers in the nation. And this bill granted agricultural workers basic protections. There was so much opposition to the bill to grant people, mostly, as you heard in our video, that are BIPOC, Black, Indigenous, and people of color, who are the primary stewards of land in the United States. And this opposition wasn't shocking, as this is how our food system operates and has. While people said it was impossible to pass a bill like this, we were able to. And the reason I tell you this story is not to take credit for it, but rather to let you know that a small group of people can make a difference in the world. And I believe in your ability to do so. And I want to send you off in such an overwhelming world of climate chaos and so many things we've experienced in these last couple of years, with the knowledge that you can, and that the answers lie in you as well. So thank you for honoring our voice today at Frontline Farming. Check us out at frontlinefarming.org, all our different programs, and of course feel free to reach out to me as well. And I hope you all a wonderful journey.